Thank you so much for the introduction. So Sumi was contacting me a couple times this week, and she was like, "Where's your presentation? Where's your presentation?" And I had my teams working on it, and then I had a moment of clarity, and I contacted Sumi, and that moment of clarity was that delivering a personal brand statement doesn't really require any sort of presentation or charts or slides because your brand isn't something that lives on a screen. It's something that lives within us. So let me start with a question. If I asked each of you to describe yourself in a sentence of how you wanted to be remembered, what would you actually say in that one sentence? Would you talk about possibly maybe your career, your title, your accomplishments? Well, that really isn't what your personal brand statement should really be about. Your personal brand statement is really about the energy that you emit, the emotional connections that you create with people, and it's the consistency and authenticity in which you carry yourself every single day. In the world of hospitality, I've seen it all. A brand without a story is a brand that doesn't survive. A restaurant without a story doesn't have anything except great food to offer. But when it's backed by a powerful narrative, that's when people come, they remember, they share, and they come back again and again. My personal brand story traces back to my roots. My grandfather came to Thailand in 1922. He was penniless, and through sheer perseverance and hard work, he became a leader of the Indian community and a very successful businessman. He passed those roots onto my father, who taught me about integrity and discipline. But my greatest story and greatest learning was from my uncle, who was a philanthropist and built a school for underprivileged children in Lopburi. And he once taught me that if I ever had the opportunity to help people, I should certainly do that. My family's brand was never written anywhere, but they lived it every single day in the way they carried themselves. And it shaped me into the person that I am today. And navigated my own career, I one day arrived to my own personal truth. I am a master storyteller who touches the human heart. This is my personal brand statement, and whether I'm working with my teams, hiring, or whether I'm creating the next restaurant brand, there is an authenticity and storytelling that comes with every single thing I do. Whether I'm celebrating the 1940s of Havana when I created Havana Social, or the story behind the Japanese delinquent who dropped out of high school and joined a biker gang that became Yankee, or most recently, the story of Roy Halston and his penthouse parties during the Studio 54 era that formed the conceptualization behind my latest creation, Apartment 101. Every single thing I've done is deeply rooted in creating human connection. And behind that philosophy is a term I ideated with my experience transformation teams called experience by design. Experience by design is when every single experiential element has been researched, planned, and executed with an excruciating amount of detail, where there's nothing left for chance, there's nothing left for arbitration. This personal statement has become my compass. When speaking to investors, it tells me why I'm different. When I'm hiring, it tells me about how to drive culture. And when I'm stuck in a difficult situation, it gives me my purpose. So, how do you craft your own personal brand statement? I look at it as building a sentence of three parts: who you are, what you stand for, and the impact you want to make. Who you are is the values that employ the person that you are. What you stand for is the one thing that you do better than anybody else. And the impact you want to make is how you want to make people feel. If you put those things together, you start developing your personal brand statement. So try to do that and see what you come with. It won't be perfect. You'll probably have to do it a few times, but it's a good start. I'll leave you with this. Your personal brand statement is not really what you do, it's who you are. And you have to remember that today consumers are overloaded with content. With the advent of AI, we're going from 600 million pieces of content per day to 1 billion pieces of content per day. So if you want to cut through the noise, the only way to do that is to do it through unique, authentic, genuine, and real storytelling. So tonight, take 10 minutes, write down your personal brand statement, sleep over it, wake up, refine it, and live it every single day. And then make sure you're telling that story to everyone that you know, because if you don't do it yourself, somebody else will. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rohit. And